everyone. In this episode, I will show two African violet hybrids side by side. The first one is Blue Dragon. It's a large hybrid, hybridized by Lyndon Lyon Greenhouses and Sorano. And on the right is a hybrid called EK-Nebesnaia Lazur. It translates into English as Sky Azure, and it's hybridized by Korshunova. This is a standard size African violet hybrid. So this one is a large size according to the official African Violet Society of America description, and this one is described as a standard. However, as we can see, the crowns right now measure about the same. These plants are about the same age, and each of them measures about 11 inches across the crown. These were featured recently in my shorts videos, and so I thought since they looked somewhat similar, it would be a good opportunity to make a video showing them side by side, so that if you wanted to get a variety, you could see how they compare against each other. I also did some research on the African Violet forums, and I learned that EK Sky Azure or ЕК-Небесная Лазурь had Blue Dragon as one of the parent hybrids when it was hybridized by Korshunova. I would be very curious to hear from the hybridizer or from somebody who knows if that's true, because the blooms especially look somewhat similar to the blooms of Blue Dragon, and also the foliage, even though it's lighter in color, it somewhat looks similar. So Blue Dragon came to me as a starter plant from one of the main African violet vendors in the United States in 2019. So I've been growing it, not this exact plant, but this variety for the last 6 years. And EK Sky Azure, or in the original language ЕК-Небесная Лазурь, came to me as a leaf from Bloom Lovers in Canada, and I got this plant by propagating that leaf, and I've been growing it since 2022 for nearly 3 years. So in addition to the size difference, they also differ, of course, in the color of the foliage and the color and the shape of the blooms, even though they do have some similarities. But first, I'll tell you how I'm growing them. So each of them grows using the wick watering method. A Blue Dragon grows in almost 5-inch diameter pot. This pot, it's a very simple pot, plastic, and it's a 4 3/4 inches in diameter. And ЕК-Небесная Лазурь grows in a 4-inch pot, so it's a smaller size. If you compare these pots side by side, you can see. So this one is for Blue Dragon, and this one is for ЕК-Небесная Лазурь, and both of them are wick watered. So this one gets watered actually mainly from the top, and then it does get some liquid when it drips down through the bottom of the pot, and the wick can drink up the remaining liquid from the bottom of the pot. Both of these hybrids are growing under the full spectrum T5 Barina grow lights. I have 2 of them per shelf, and I have a video about these lights, so I can link it in the description for you to learn more. And so they both have some of the full spectrum grow light and some of the natural light, and this is actually a north facing window, so they don't get much of the natural light, but just some. And here's the Blue Dragon on this side right here, also at the end of the shelf, close to the window, so they get the benefit of the full spectrum grow light and the natural light. And the distance between the crown and the lights is about 9 inches. Because this is a room with the north-facing window and because they get very limited natural light, I keep these lights on for an hour longer than the lights I have in my south-facing room. So these lights are on from 9 a.m. through 8 p.m. for 11 hours a day. The leaves of Blue Dragon are described as dark green, plain with red back. Here we go, the reverse is red color. And the EK-Небесная Лазурь leaves are described as medium green, plain. Let's check the reverse here. It does have some kind of reddish colored reverse, but mostly green. The blooms on Blue Dragon are double light blue, large frilled star with raspberry edge. It's a very unusual coloring. And also mine has some green edge around the petals. And they're kind of darker blue in shade in terms of the main color than ЕК-Небесная Лазурь. ЕК-Небесная Лазурь has Semidouble, light blue large star, purple band, and light green edge. And it's interesting because the light green edge right now, we are in the warmer growing temperatures. We're now in the month of May, and the light green edge is almost gone, but it was present in the winter in the cooler growing temperatures. So the Blue Dragon, even though it doesn't have the green edge in the description, but as we can see here, it holds the green edge quite nicely even when it gets warmer. And the ЕК-Небесная Лазурь, it kind of the green edge is variable, I would say. The bloom stalks are very nice and strong and standing upright on Blue Dragon. Here they are. They're holding this nice bouquet of blooms above the crown. And the ЕК-Небесная Лазурь, it also has very strong bloom stalks, but because the blooms are so large and heavy, they somewhat start cascading down just slightly, just a little bit. So the bouquet, instead of being centered in the crown like Blue Dragon, it gets evenly distributed on the top of the crown. Both of them are spectacular blooms in my eyes. In terms of the ease of growing and their growing habits, I've enjoyed growing both of these hybrids. I can say that both of them are somewhat challenging have been somewhat challenging for me personally to grow using wick watering method, which I use to save up time watering my collection, because they have a tendency of getting the edema on the leaves. So the leaves become sometimes waterlogged, especially the lower leaves, the older ones, especially when it gets warmer. And so here I just removed one of them from the ЕК-Небесная Лазурь. As you can see, this is already a damaged leaf, severely damaged by water clogging, and therefore they need a lot of air pockets in their potting mix in order to grow healthy. So I need to repot the ЕК-Небесная Лазурь hybrid as soon as possible for it to stop losing the older leaves. The Blue Dragon is not as prone to that, but sometimes it also loses the lower leaves because of not timely repotting. So for each of them, I need to ensure that I repot them at least once every 6 months. And finally, as far as crown symmetry goes, I find Blue Dragon less prone to suckering, and overall having a more symmetrical crown and more symmetrical leaf growing habit than the EK-Небесная Лазурь. So here I can show you, here they are. It just keeps on growing. New little side crowns from the main stem that needs to be removed to ensure the symmetrical growth of the main crown. And so it gets somewhat unruly with age. First, of course, it's very symmetrical, just like Blue Dragon, but as it gets older, it gets a little bit more unruly and needs a little bit more crown discipline, if I may say so. So here they are again, the stars of today's episode: Blue Dragon by Lyndon Lyon Greenhouses and Paul Sorano, and EK-Небесная Лазурь by Елена Korshunova. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe to support this channel if you found it helpful. Happy growing!